a solid-state virus, and they can program it to reproduce, to make objects. So in theory, you get one of these nana cells, drop it into this vial of liquid that it reacts with, catalyzes with, and you could have a teaspoon come back out. It will build a teaspoon, or it could build a car. And they reckon that nanotechnology will become the industrial production technique of the future. And you'll have your own nanotechnology in your house. You'll just have a vat, and you'll throw in the appropriate nano cell, and you'll get a new washing powder, or new kitchen utensils, or a fresh electric kettle, and it will cost nothing, really. Worth mentioning once you've got the vat.
That sounds like a Philip K. Dick novel.
Well, they can do it to an extent already. And of course, what that also leads on to is, how was the universe seeded with any kind of intelligent life? And the answer is obviously viruses. Suppose you were an intelligent species somewhere else in the universe, right? And you think, how am I going to cheaply try and spread my message and my genetic code throughout this infinite universe? Spray one-cell viruses programmed with everything you want to know outwards in every direction simultaneously. They'll travel forever through space. Only a few will be destroyed by hitting stars and suns. The rest will keep going. They'll land everywhere and lie dormant indefinitely. Some will invade living bodies or cell organisms. And in all of us, human beings, there is in each cell of our bodies a mitochondria. The mitochondria has its own separate DNA, separate from ours. And without it in our cells, we would only live a few seconds. And no one knows what it's there for or where it came from. And I suspect that one answer would be that it was a virus interloper sent to generate or trigger a catalytic change from primeval soup to life. I don't believe in evolution, you see. I think it's just, it doesn't add up.
Everything that here has been here.
I think it's a very sophisticated computer virus, a nanotech virus was spread out. Maybe more than one, maybe various cultures in infinite time have done it and sent them out. And that was the trigger to intelligent life developing. And that's where Burroughs, in a sense, gets quite accurate, talking about language came from a virus, Well, maybe it did, from the mitochondria. And there's not enough research done on that, really.
Speaking of Burroughs...
I'm getting quite esoteric here, but I think it is important stuff. Hang on. A bit extra noise for a second, then we'll be back. Hello. So, yeah, speaking of Burroughs and Geising, always mention Brian Geising, too.
And viruses.
And viruses.
Was Burroughs instrumental? His virus theory seems to be a basis for this new technological edge.
I think on good days, Burroughs has been very prophetic, for sure. There's no question about it. And it's like the old story of take the most extreme possibility and then say it's probably true. And it probably is true. And he realized that viruses and microbe cultures were still basically a very unresearched area, and they still are. But with me, I also noticed things like ancient stone sites and Stonehenge and carvings on stone sites were more like biochemical diagrams than they were anything else. And it occurred to me that as those people would be taking huge amounts of psychedelic drugs in shamanic rituals, one thing that always happens is you do see inside cell structures, or you feel as if you do. You travel within the body, almost like that film, The Fantastic Voyage. And so it's very likely that the wise people of ancient times groped their way with these chemical triggers to some understanding of the universal structures. They had the vision to know that that was the key without having all of the backup scientific method to explain why it was the key. And the why is, in a sense, less important anyway. The vision is the most important, in my opinion. And the non-musical side of my life is a search to find people with vision and communicate with them and be confounded by what they know and be stimulated to push myself further as well.
Have you found that that your writing has suffered because of your musical interests? I remember when you were in Throbbing Gristle, your early years in the industrial newsletters, and then just a volume of work seemed to spurt out, and then the more prolific you became musically, it seemed like you put more energy into the music end of it.
The output has got less, but I don't think the quality's suffered. I think I've actually got better at writing.
Just refined it, crystallized it?
But it takes longer for it to come out as a perfect piece. But there's a book on sale tonight, Esoterrorist, which is a collection of some of the essays that have been done in the meantime. And before I left England, I did a 120-page TG scrapbook that's coming out in conjunction with all of the records on CD with Mute, TG records, that is.
How much will that retail for?
I don't know yet. I guess when it's made, they'll work it out. I don't think too much.
Will it be mass available?
We've done a bit like research, yeah. It's as mass available as we can get it with a distributor. And it's not like a big theory, it just explains little bits that people always ask questions about, little anecdotes, and it's very objective. It's up to other people to write theories about it, so I've kept it a scrapbook with extra anecdotes. It's an expanded version of the one that I did for the box set with Fetish, basically. Okay. It's like that, but 120 pages.
I really like it.
Which I think is the kind of book I like about bands anyway. It's just lots of information and not too much theory.
Exactly.
Because each individual, I think you have to respect that they can work most of it out between the lines anyway, you know. And there's no definite story. Everybody's story is true, you know. Each individual of the group has their own story, which is their true story as they saw it. And then everybody who was interested in the band also has their interpretation, and the whole idea is that you resonate with the people who like what you do. And so to dictate too much is to take away their imagination and their independence, and that's not a thing I'm into at all.
It's weird. Yes.
Right.
And I want to ask you about them also.
Well, Andrew Mackenzie has been working with us quite a lot, and together with him we've brought out a Dream Machine kit with also a book of its history and again...
Where can people get right to for that?
They can